I want to start this episode a little bit differently. This is not some celebration episode. I'm not here to pop champagne over hitting 100 episodes. I'm here because I need to speak directly to the man who's listening and feels like his life is slipping through his fingers. You might not say it out loud, but I know the signs. You wake up tired, even though you slept. You move through your day like a shadow. You're there, but you're not really there. You check the boxes, but you feel disconnected. You're trying to do better, but you don't even know what that even means anymore. I've been there. I've been the man who looks and feels like he has it all together, but I feel completely fucking hollow inside. I have smiled through the dinners, pretending that I'm okay. I have told people around me that, hey, I'm doing great, but I am mentally fucking spiraling. I've shown up to work, I've done my job, I hit my reps, but inside I was screaming. And I've sat in my car for 45 minutes after getting home, just staring at the steering wheel, not because I was tired, but because I didn't want to walk into the house and fake being okay one more time. This is the reality far too many men face, and women, after the uniform comes off. You give everything to the job, the mission, the brotherhood, and then one day it's all gone. And no one tells you what to do next. No one tells you how to rebuild your identity when you're not that sergeant or the officer. No one teaches you how to lead without a title. And this is the hard part. This is the reality that we all face when we get out. Because it happens to all of us. You see, we leave the military and we don't realize that we are going to lose a lot of what we know, everything of what we know, really quickly. So let me be the one to say what no one else is saying. Let me give you the truth straight from my life, from my mistakes, from my lessons, because I built VetRise out of necessity, out of pain, out of sheer desperation to not become another fucking statistic, to not lose my kids, to not lose myself. This is episode 100, and this is what I fucking believe. I believe nobody is coming to save you. I remember sitting in my house after my divorce. I had joint custody, but when the kids weren't there, the house was dead silent. And that silence, it eats at you. It starts to tell you lies. It says nobody gives a shit. It says you're alone. It says you blew your life up for no reason. And I waited. I waited for someone to text me, someone to call me, someone to tell me that it wasn't my fault, that I was doing okay. But those calls never come because that's life. Eventually, I had to realize nobody was coming. And that wasn't something to mourn. That was something to accept. Why? Because everyone is living their lives. Everyone has their own shit that they're dealing with. And as much as they want to be there for you, they cannot be there for you 24/7. They don't know because you don't share. And when you accept that nobody is coming, you finally get to stand up and lead yourself. That's when everything shifted for me. I realized that the world doesn't owe me anything. It doesn't owe me healing. It doesn't owe me understanding. And it sure damn doesn't owe me a second chance. So I gave those things to myself. If you're still waiting for someone to pull you out of the fog, you're already fucked. You've got to become the one who saves yourself. And not just for you, for your kids, for your wife, for the people watching you, hoping that you'll lead the way. Because if you can't lead yourself, don't pretend you're a leader at all. I believe discipline beats motivation every single time. And I believe that we need devotion before we can find that discipline. So let's stop lying to ourselves. Motivation is a temporary emotion. It comes and it goes. It is the dopamine spike you get after watching a video on TikTok or scrolling past some badass quotes on social media. It feels good for a second, but it doesn't last. What lasts is discipline, devotion. And discipline and devotion are boring. It's the alarm going off at 5 a.m. when you don't want to get up. It's eating the same damn meals over and over again. It's showing up to train when your body is sore and your mind says, skip it. Discipline is what kept me going when I felt like my life was burning down. Not because I felt strong, but because I refused to stay weak. I remember one morning, the kids had just gone back to their mom's house and I felt like the place was empty. I was all alone. And that voice in my head said, you've already lost everything. What is the point? But I got up. I jumped in my ice barrel. I trained. I tracked my food. I read. I showed up for my clients. I did the damn thing. Not because I was inspired, but because I made a decision to keep building, even if I didn't feel like it. And that's what I teach now. You don't need to feel good. Fuck your mood. Follow the plan. Your emotions will follow. You need to do what's right, especially when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the difference between men who stay stuck and men who rise. I believe you are not a victim if you still have a choice, and I'm not here to invalidate your pain. I'm not here to tell you that your trauma isn't real. I know it is. I know what it's like to carry it silently, to live with the weight of things you've seen, done, or been through. But I also know that using that pain as a crutch will destroy you. For a long time, I played the victim. I can't help it. This is just how I am. This is what happens after years in the Marines. This is what PTSD looks like. I used my past as a permission to stay stuck. And then one day, I had to look in the mirror and ask myself, am I really broken or am I just afraid of rebuilding? And that question changed everything. Because the truth is, if you can wake up, if you can move, if you can still think for yourself, you still have the power. You might be hurting, but you're not helpless. You might be struggling, but you're not stuck. Unless you choose to be. You can have trauma and still be a leader. That's what makes you a stronger one. You have the experience. I believe structure is freedom. When I left the military, I thought freedom meant doing whatever I wanted. No more orders, no more formation, no more rules. Nobody telling me what to do. But with no rules comes no direction. So I slept in. I skipped meals. I trained inconsistently. My days blurred together. I lost track of what even mattered to me. And then the anxiety crept in. Then the overthinking. Then the shame. And before I knew it, I wasn't free. I was trapped in my own undisciplined mind. That's when I realized freedom doesn't come from having no rules and doing whatever the fuck you want. It comes from building your own. It comes from structure. The morning routine, the workouts, the meals, your priorities, your habits, your routines, the things you actually give a fuck about. That's what creates freedom. Because what you control, you can change. And when you control your time, you control your life. Structure saved me. And I've watched it save hundreds of my clients as well. I believe talk is cheap, but tracking is the proof that you need. If I look at your calendar right now, your habits, your meals, and your sleep time and wake up time, I can tell you everything I need to know about you. You don't need to explain yourself. Just show me the data. Are you sleeping? Are you eating enough? Are you training consistently? Are you journaling? Are you checking in? Are you making sure that you have everything on your calendar that you have to do? Because if it's not there, it's not going to happen. And we both know. If you're not tracking it, you're not doing it. I used to tell myself I was being mindful with food. Then I started tracking, and I realized I was under eating by over 500 calories on most days. No wonder my strength sucked. No wonder I was always drained. The truth doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie. Only we do. When we are not ready to face what they will show us. So if you want to go, if you want to actually have a better day-to-day, you have to know what your day is going to look like. Put everything on your calendar. Follow through with it. If you want it to happen, you have to have it on your calendar. It is the most honest conversation that you will have with yourself when you realize that you do not have everything that you want to do on your calendar. So let me tell you what I see happening every single week. Sometimes with my own clients. Sometimes with the people that DM me. Sometimes just in the guys I run into in the gym. They say they want purpose, but they don't do a damn thing to build it. They sit around scrolling Instagram, watching YouTube, running on distractions, and wondering why nothing in their life feels meaningful. You cannot think your way into purpose. You build it day by day through repetition, through responsibility, through doing hard shit that doesn't give you the instant gratification. If you want to feel like a man again, you start doing things that men do. Show up for yourself. Keep your word. Earn your own respect. They say that they're disciplined, but they haven't added everything to their calendar. They haven't woken up on time. They haven't done the workouts. They haven't stuck to a wake-up routine in months. They confuse remembering with tracking. They confuse busy with effective. They tell themselves they're doing pretty good, but they avoid the mirror and they avoid the scale and they avoid accountability because deep down they know that they're just coasting. They say they're healing, but they haven't done a single hard thing in months. They treat healing like it's something that happens to you in silence, in comfort, in stillness. That is not healing. That's hiding. Real healing requires movement, doing the deep work, going to therapy, doing the things that you don't want to do, that you've been avoiding for a long time. Real healing demands structure. You have to earn your way back into peace. You cannot live in chaos. It is not normal. Just because it was back then doesn't mean that it is now. You have to do the work. And I've done the work. And I will continue to do the work on a daily fucking basis. When I was in my darkest place, therapy helped. But you know what helped me more? Showing up for myself, waking up on time, getting some sun on my face, saying no to people, moving my body when I didn't want to, reading one page of a book even when my brain was foggy, making the bed, calling someone I didn't want to call, and having a conversation that I didn't want to have in the moment. Those little acts of structure became my lifeline in the moment. They say they're leaders, but they've ghosted their own life. They led men in combat, they led missions, they led organizations, platoons, but now they can't lead themselves to drink water, get 8 hours of sleep, or follow through on a promise they made to themselves 3 days ago. Leadership isn't about being in charge. It is about being consistent when nobody is watching. And when they say that nobody understands them, they're the ones who are isolating. They're the ones who ignore calls, they skip workouts, they cancel hangouts, they shut down emotionally, and then they claim that no one gets them. I'm calling it what it is. Emotional cowardice. I know because I did the same thing. I thought that shutting down made me strong. All it made me was numb, angry, and eventually broken. You don't need to suffer in silence to prove you're tough. Strength is vulnerability with discipline. Connection with responsibility. You don't need 100 friends, but you do need to open the door to one. Just one conversation, one mentor, one brother. That's how healing begins. And I'll be honest with you. I didn't start VetRise because I had it all figured out. I did not. I started it because I had to. Because the darkness was catching up with me. Because I was losing the respect of people that I loved. Because I could feel the version of me I swore I'd never become taking over. This brand isn't built on theory. It's built on fucking survival. It's built on the truth that I lived. VetRise exists to give men and women what they're not getting anywhere else. It's not more motivation. It's not more mindset fluff. It's not any of that bullshit. It's real structure, real purpose, real accountability. And what I do is simple, but it's not easy. I teach them how to lead themselves again. I teach them how to build the daily systems that will act as safety nets to make them proud of who they are. I hold up the mirror to what they've been avoiding, and I walk beside them as they rebuild from the inside out, right next to them, not behind them, pushing them up the hill, not in front of them, dragging them up the mountain, next to them, because I've been there. I know what it's like. I want them to have a new standard for what life looks like after the military. I want everybody here to have that new standard. I want you to reject the idea of being a broken veteran. I want you to reject the idea of being a broken person. It's a declaration that just because you served doesn't mean that you have to stop serving. But now you got to serve yourself. You got to serve your family. Now you serve a new mission. So here's what I want to leave you with. This isn't just the 100th episode of the VetRise podcast. This isn't just a manifesto. This is your gut check. If you feel like life is chaotic for you right now, if you wake up already behind, if you stopped leading yourself and you've started drifting, then it's time to face it. Because you're not here to survive. You're here to rise. And no one else is going to do it for you. You don't need more motivation. You need a mirror. You don't need more people to tell you what to do. You need structure in your own life. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting it. You don't need a plan. You need to execute. You don't need permission. You need to decide. You don't have to do it alone, but you do have to start. Because the life that you want is already waiting for you. It's just on the other side of all the bullshit that you've been telling yourself for the longest time. So what are you going to do about it? This is what I fucking believe, and this is just the beginning. Episode 100, out. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join our mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget that we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.